All right, let's talk about one of the most famous, most applied to universities in the entire world, UCLA. If you're a student dreaming of becoming a Bruin, or you're a parent trying to figure this whole complex process out, you're in the right place. We're going to break down everything you really need to know. Let's get into it.
So what's all the buzz about? Why does everyone want to go to UCLA? Well, for starters, it is consistently ranked the #1 public university in the country by U.S. News & World Report. That title alone puts it at the very top of the list for thousands upon thousands of amazing students every single year.
Okay, let's get our bearings with some quick facts. UCLA is a huge urban campus right in the Westwood neighborhood of LA, with over 33,000 undergrads. And you'll see this R1 designation. Now, that's not just some fancy academic term. It means the university is at the absolute highest level of research activity. For you as an undergrad, that means you're right in the middle of cutting-edge discoveries, with actual chances to get involved in some seriously groundbreaking work. It really shapes the whole academic vibe.
So let's peek inside the classroom. What would you actually be studying? What are the big academic powerhouses at UCLA?
You know, what's really fascinating here is the sheer variety. Of course, everyone knows UCLA is world famous for film and TV. It's in LA after all. But look at the list. Social sciences like political science, psychology, and economics are massively popular. This shows you that UCLA has incredibly deep strengths across the board, not just in the programs that get all the Hollywood buzz.
Now, you might see a 19-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio for a school this big and think, wow, that sounds pretty high. But that number doesn't tell the whole story. So what does that actually feel like when you're in class?
And here's the other side of the coin. Almost half, nearly 50% of all undergraduate classes at UCLA have fewer than 20 students. So yeah, you're going to have some of those big classic lecture hall experiences, but you also have a very real chance for smaller, more personal, seminar-style classes. You kind of get the best of both worlds, all the resources of a giant university with the feel of a smaller school in many of your classes.
And that brings us back to that R1 status. Because it's so important to the UCLA experience, it truly is a research powerhouse. This means undergrads get incredible hands-on access to research projects, amazing internships all over Los Angeles, and a ton of study abroad options. It's a huge part of the culture here. You learn by actually doing.
Okay, let's get to the topic everyone's anxious to hear about, admissions. Getting into UCLA is, to put it mildly, a challenge. The numbers can be pretty intimidating, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off and look at what this gauntlet really looks like.
Just take a second and look at that number. For the fall 2024 freshman class, UCLA got more than 146,000 applications. It is, without a doubt, one of the most in-demand universities on the entire planet.
And when you have that many people applying, you get a tiny acceptance rate that's now below 9%. That puts UCLA's selectivity right up there with the Ivy League. And it's so important to know why. As a public university, UCLA's main job is to serve students from California, which makes the competition for those few out-of-state and international spots incredibly fierce.
So what does it take to be in that 8.9%? Well, the academic level is just staggering. The average unweighted GPA is a 3.93. Think about that. It means the typical admitted student has almost straight A's. In fact, more than half of them have a perfect 4.0. It shows you that top-notch grades aren't just a goal, they're the starting line. Okay, this is a huge deal for anyone applying. The entire University of California system, UCLA included, is test blind. Let me say that again. They will not look at SAT or ACT scores, even if you send them, period. This means your application is all about your grades, the difficulty of your classes, your essays, and your activities. That's it. If you want personalized help saving $40,000 or more on college costs, check the link in the description to learn about our College Savings Mentor program.
Getting in is one thing, but paying for it is another. For most families, cost is, of course, a massive piece of the puzzle. So let's decode the UCLA price tag.
Wow, this slide really tells the whole story, doesn't it? The difference between the cost for a California resident and a non-resident is just massive. You're looking at around $43,000 for in-state versus almost $81,000 for out-of-state. And this isn't random. It's because California taxpayers help pay for the cost for residents. The out-of-state price is the full, unsubsidized cost of getting this elite education.
And here's something you might not expect. For an in-state student, look at that breakdown. The cost of room and board is actually more than tuition and fees.
That's a huge reminder that the high cost of living in Los Angeles is a major part of the overall bill.
Now, when it comes to financial aid, there's a very clear divide. The UC system is fantastic for its in-state students. Programs like the Cal Grant and the Blue and Gold Plan help make college affordable for many Californians. But, and this is a big but, that same promise doesn't extend to out-of-state students. Need-based aid is much more limited, and merit scholarships are incredibly competitive. For most non-residents, that high sticker price is pretty close to what you'll actually pay.
All right, enough with the numbers. Let's shift gears and talk about what it's actually like to be a student there. What is life as a Bruin all about?
This gives us such a great snapshot of the student body. I mean, look at this. About a third of the students are the first in their families to go to college. That says so much about UCLA's role in creating opportunities. With over 1,000 student clubs, seriously 1,000, you are guaranteed to find your people, whether you're into robotics or a cappella. Throw in big-time Division I sports and a very active Greek life, and what you have is a campus that is just buzzing with energy 24/7.
So we've covered the academics, the tough admissions, the cost, and campus life. Let's put it all together. When all is said and done, is it worth it? What's the return on this huge investment of time, energy, and money?
The outcomes are definitely a big selling point. Students who go to UCLA graduate. The 4-year graduation rate is strong at around 70%, and that number jumps to about 90% within 6 years. This is a great sign that students are supported, they're successful, and they're finishing their degrees on time.
So, here it is, the big question. Is UCLA the right school for you? On the one hand, the pros are huge. World-class research, a globally respected name, and all the opportunities of Los Angeles at your fingertips. But the cons are just as real. The academics are super competitive, the campus can feel huge and overwhelming, housing can be tricky, and that out-of-state price tag is, well, it's a lot.
And really, it all boils down to this one question. UCLA is perfect for a certain type of student, someone who's independent, driven, and ready to jump into a fast-paced, competitive, and incredibly diverse world. It offers some of the best opportunities on the planet, but it's going to ask for your best in return. So you have to ask yourself, is this the right place for you to thrive? Before you go, check the description for a link to our College Savings Mentor program, where we help families save $40,000 or more on college costs.